If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener.
Right.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Revo's birthday.
We're here. It's a little chippy, but it's Revo Day. We had to come through for our boy. Coming through, getting you guys the United Nations version of her birthday. Let's tell them what's up next, dear listener.
All right, come back home from Taiji.
Holy shit, you got to keep talking because I forgot to download.
Yeah, I got something to read anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's the band we're doing. And the name of the song?
And it's that and the boys is the name, or the kids.
And the boys. And boys.
Or the kids.
And adults.
Yeah,
Come Back Home
and the adults.
Is the name of the song. This is the lead. This is a message from DJ Revo, the birthday man. This is the lead single from Soy Tayo of Boys' 4th album.
Okay, so from now on, just call it STB. So STB stands for Sal, Taiji, and the Boys.
Yes.
I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but there you are.
STB, the 4th, was released in 1995, which became their last album as a boy group. But ST would continue the numbers in his solo album releases. This song was the group's foray in the gangster rap. It is supposed to be inspired.
Gangster rap? I gotta hear this shit. What date? What year?
95.
95.
It was when it was released.
Okay, that's Pac is out there doing his thing. Death Row Records is out there doing some gangster shit. Snoop Dogg. Okay, 95. Okay.
It was supposed to be inspired by ST's own experience of running away from home to escape the corporal punishment. Oh my God, that was common in the public school system when he was growing up. It was supposed to be a commentary on the high amounts of runaways that were happening at the time. The song was criticized for being similar to Cypress Hill's Insane the Membrane. Cypress Hill's Be Real said when asked about it that we were cool about shit like that. It does sample the drums from Tupac's Me Against the World and some vocals from Run DMC's Here We Go. Unlike their previous releases, this album got caught up in the government's censorship board public performance ethics committee as they refused to allow the album to be released without altered lyrics, which I will cover more in the last review today. This album became their last as they unexpectedly announced their breakup the year after this album. This song was released in 1995, which puts their ages at a bit older, 23 to 28.
Revo, why?
Wow. So what was the punishment for these kids if they?
Well, they just wouldn't release it.
No. Back here, the corporal
punishment.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be inspired by his own experiences of running away from home to escape the corporal punishment.
They'd hit you with a ruler or a thing.
Yeah, they did that at the schools I went to.
In Jamaica, we had this thing called a tiger. It was an extension cord, and they beat the hell out of you.
It was called the tiger?
They used to call it the tiger. You go and get the tiger. You better be quiet. Oh, yeah. I only got the tiger one time, and I absolutely deserved that shit.
Did your mother let it happen?
My mom wasn't there.
Yeah, but did she tell them never do it again, or she was okay
My mom
with
wasn't there. She was
and
in another
once
country.
She found out, oh.
This is when I was in Jamaica.
Right.
As a kid.
Right. Did your dad say anything, or was he okay with it?
Absolutely not. He was like, good for you. Actually, he gave me another round when I got home. And like I said, I completely deserved it.
My parents went into the schools and told them they could never put hands on any of us.
If my mother had been down there, it would have been a wrap. People would have got hurt for touch. My mom. See,
I'm not good with people putting their hands on my kids.
It's the culture. It's just the culture.
Yeah,
but my mom was completely countercultural. I remember she touched down the cigarette in her mouth. Like, that's the first thing I remember was my mom with fucking lipstick and a cigarette. I was like, holy, this woman's a badass. Holy shit. This is not some... Jamaica is a very, like, patriarchal... But it's not, like, oppressive patriarchal. It's like everybody understands and agrees on the roles, and there's, like, churches, like, literally on every corner. Super religious. So I never saw a woman like my mom, cussing, smoking, all fucking makeup, all types of shit. And she didn't need any dude ever. Like she had more money than everybody because she had American.
Yeah.
She was playing with American money. So she just didn't. She was the worst. Shout out to my mom. I'll see you soon, inshallah. All right, here we go.
Well,
here we go. Yeah, weren't you like 6 when you moved? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was about 4 or 5 when I got the extension cord. But like I said, I deserved it. All right, here we go.
What did you do?
I'm not even going to talk about it. I think I was just a very angry because I missed my mom, but I didn't know it.
Oh,
and so like people just, I would just wake up sometimes and would just do some real dumb shit. Just dumb shit to, whatever.
Do you think that's why you were better with that? Remember that, I won't say his name, but that little blonde kid that everybody didn't like? Do you think that's why you were so good with him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I completely understood where he was coming from, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Well, back at it.
And I mean, he didn't get the tiger. Like, I realized that if they would have talked to me and, like, actually try to walk me through my feelings, like, I wouldn't have done what I did to you know what I'm saying? But, it's the mentality. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right, so I'm making this a little bit bigger so everybody can look at the lyrics. Wow. Okay, that bass line, I'm sorry to interrupt. That bass line, go listen to Deep Cover by Snoop and Dre, which came out around 93, 94. That bass line. Dun, dun.
Yep.
Check out the Deep Cover song when you get some time.
Do you want me to send you the lyrics?
What? No. The lyrics are right here.
Yeah, I don't know if you need them for after.
All right, check them out again, guys. This is just amazing. They just find American songs and they go off on it.
Is that what it sounds like?
This is West Coast Dr. Dre type shit.
I like it.
Unbelievable.
내겐 점점 더 크게 더해갔던 이 사회를 탓하던 분노가 맞네 증오가 됐어 진실들은 사라졌어 저 끝에서 You must go back home 떠나가 말보다 따뜻한 You must go back home 거칠은 인생 속에 You must go back home 떠나가 말보다 따뜻한 You must go back home 나를 다시 하나의 생명이 태어났고 또 다시 우모의 제약이 시작됐지 내겐 사랑이 전혀 없는 것 내 힘겨운 눈물이 말라버렸지 무모한 거품은 날리고 주위를 둘러봐 너 기다 아직 우린 젊기에 괜찮은 미래가 이기에 자 이제 차가 얼른 문을 닫고 Come back home You must come back home 떠나가 마음보다 따뜻한 You must come back home 거칠은 인생 속에 You must come back home 떠나가 마음보다 따뜻한 You must come back home 나를 완성하겠어
Place to be. It's about that time.
Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, y'all.
터질 것 같은 내 십자가 날 미치게 만들 것 같았지만 난 이제 깨달았어 날 사랑했다는 것을 You must go back home 떠나가 마음보다 따뜻한 You must go back home 거칠은 인생 속에 You must go back home 떠나가 마음보다 따뜻한 You must go back home 나를 완성하겠어 You must go back home You must go back home
I'm amazed by this group of people, man. What year is this?
95? Our Amazon account is up and running now. We are selling our formula officially. It's amazing stuff from Europe.
Made in Germany. Sold in America.
Highest standards there are. In America, the standards haven't been updated since 1980. It's super weird, like older than me. In Europe, they update safety standards basically every year. This formula is top notch, great for the stomach, great for constipation. This is a great product. If you happen to want to purchase it and join us on our journey, then grab the link in the description. If you do and leave a review for us, send me a screenshot at vinandsori@gmail.com of your review after you have received the product. We will put your name in a hat. Song reviews are going to come out by some of the people that have left reviews. Don't forget to send us a screenshot of your review once you get the product. Now a word from our mascot dressed as a pirate, Fuji.
It's a steal of a deal.
Ian's on some gang shit.
95. Yep.
Ian is a gangster. Ian would have
Oh,
been
what he
rolling
said,
with
yeah.
us in high school for sure. For sure. He's a gang. I'll explain it to you later. Okay. This song was Dr. Dre production and a Cypress Hill performance.
Yeah.
So you ever heard that song? Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. Yeah, so that was like
I don't think so.
Cypress Hill, like
Yep.
they're like really Latinos, but they're from L.A. I think they're a California group, and they rap like that, and they use some metal in there in some of, but that very distinct rap style that they were using, that was Cypress Hill. Mm-hmm. So like literally like this band, like it's like I said, anything that they like.
They do it, yeah. They go for it.
They
Look,
they
Insane
just
in
go
the
it.
Membrane. That's literally what you said. Cypress Hill's Insane in the Membrane.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
it was criticized for being similar to that.
I mean, this band, it's obvious what they do. Like they like I said, they see a snow video on MTV.
Yep.
They do a snow it's fun. Like my thing is, they have no template to work from, and the only outlet they have for any sort of quote rebellion is watching MTV. So it makes sense that you would take those sounds and then put your own soundtrack to it. Yeah, in Jamaica, I definitely got the same energy. It's like children kind of like are the property of their parents in Jamaica. At least when I was coming up. I think it's a little bit different now.
Let me just jump in there and say something on the last thing you were saying. I don't know either if grew up under a lot of like oppression, so I don't know how 100%. Much. Remember, like there was like one of them we read where they couldn't have like instruments and stuff. Like remember they were like had to sneak the guitar. I thought we read something about that.
Yeah,
Revo.
there was something. So
like I know that like for me, when I see how you do music, it could just be that you're musically inclined more so than I am. But I do think that if you limit like a child's upbringing in music and in dance and all those things, like that does have an effect on the person long term to kind of like the creativity
Like
and the stuff.
artistic
Yeah,
expression,
because
yeah.
like you'll be like, try different vocal styles, and I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, how many do I know?
Right,
and how
right.
many do I even know well? Like I know there are different styles out there, but I don't know those styles. Like you said, I mostly just know like the sound of church. So like, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying like, I don't know if part of the reason why they were biting off the style, like taking another song and like putting their own thing into it and going with that is because like they were kind of like, okay, it was available to them where there had been so much oppression. There's not a lot of time for creativity in environments like that.
100%. I'm sure there are traditional Korean sort of art forms that the parents would have appreciated.
Right.
That the kids, by definition, could not use because they're trying to rebel against that.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's one of the big things where, like, as a parent, you really got to understand what your role is, which is, again, as a Christian, there's already a template. Mm-hmm. I don't own my children as in they're not my property. So if I want to give them a hug, I don't get to give them a hug. If he's like, yo, give me my space, man. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a person. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a person. He's got a personality. He's got an idea. My job is to guide him, is to work. I tell the boys all the time, my job is to work myself out of a job with you. The child is not your fucking property. They're not the property of the state either. So that's when I'll pull the, hey, that's my child card. When you know, that crazy person on MSNBC was like, oh, their child doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the village. You gonna die, bro.
No, my child
you
does
gonna
not
die.
belong to the village.
Right. That's when I'll say, no, that's my child. Mm-hmm. As in my responsibility. Mm-hmm. God has charged me with their development. He hasn't charged the state with the development of my children. Right. So,
right.
But like, there is that kind of mentality that I didn't see it in America, because I remember when I came, my mom pulled me aside one time, and she said, because I saw little Timmy in the.
Don't you have like the sign in? It's like your profile picture. Your little, you could pop it right up on the screen when you're talking about it. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
When you were coming in.
Yeah, I don't have that. Well, let me go to HBO Max. You just ruined my story.
I'm sorry. It's a very cute picture.
I don't even know if it's gonna let me do it. But anyway, yeah, my mom, like, I saw little Johnny in the store.
Yeah, that's it. Just screenshot that.
This is my HBO Max profile, right?
Yeah. Every time I sign in to watch something, I'm like, there he goes. And I always, because he had candy in the side of his mouth when they took the picture.
Yeah, this is my mom is literally kidnapping us. Type 22 if you want to see Vin's. Literally, this was a picture I took like hours before I went on the plane to get to Jamaica.
Your eyes are kind of like Reza's.
Yeah, I got the. You see all that like mischief?
Yeah.
I got the.
I can completely see it.
That's my nickname in Yemen. Alamriki. Oh. You know what that means?
No.
The American.
Oh, really? It sounded so cool.
Amriki?
Yeah.
Amriki sounds like a kid. Amriki. All right, so like anyway, so we saw little Johnny making mistakes over there in Walmart.
Put that up.
God, it's Revo's birthday. I'll let Revo make the decision if he.
I mean, they've already started putting 22 in the.
But it's Revo's birthday, shall we?
Revo, okay. Revo, do you mind if he pops a picture up there while he tells the story?
What's the deal with the lamp? It's changing color based on noise, randomness, or pattern. It's not even a lamp, bro. It's a microphone.
Yeah.
Listen. So let me tell the story. So I went, I had my first, I don't know, Walmart, Walgreens, Sears. You remember Sears? There used to be a Sears, not Sears. Sears. Yeah, there used to be a Sears. Anyway, I saw this dude acting reckless. He smacked his mom. I said, holy shit, this white boy's about to die. Like, rest in peace to the homie. He's going to die. This lady took us in. We don't do that, Timmy. We don't do that. I was like, I looked at my brother. I'm like, Mom Dukes, boom, grabbed me.
Really?
Woo-hoo.
Right then?
Pulled me aside into the little dressing room or whatever. She's like, listen.
That's smart.
She said, this is how these people are, okay?
Yeah.
This is America, but I want you to understand.
Yeah.
She said, I'm translating this for you. I want you to understand something. I will smack the shit out of you in front of these white people if you ever try to play.
White people.
She said, if you ever try to play, and she was directly looking at me because she knew. Junior was looking at homeboy like, you gonna die, bro. I was looking at homeboy like, oh, this is a whole new world. And my mom was like, don't you dare even try. A whole new world. You gonna die.
Oh, no.
Like, it was, it's like, it's just not a good play. But like, yeah, man, I saw that. I was like, whoa, this shit is different in America. The legends were true. And then she got on my love. Don't you ever in your life think you could do.
I actually think that.
I wasn't even doing anything.
Yeah,
Mom.
yeah. But sometimes kids see something and they're like, "Yo, I didn't think about doing that before."
My mom, she knew immediately.
Yeah.
She knew immediately. I never tested her, not once. I never tested my mom in public, at church, never. And there are still times when you get backhanded for no fuck. I'm like, yo, I wasn't even. Yeah. There's one particular time in New Year's around 1996. I'll never forget it.
Were you actually doing stuff, or was she just?
I wasn't. She made a mistake. Shout out to my mom. Rest in peace. She made a mistake, and it was a very stressful time. I mean, we were homeless at the time, and we were going out like to some boardwalk in New Jersey on the shore or something like that, and like shit happened. But like, it didn't get bad for me until I hit high school, because like I said, aside from you, physically speaking, my mother's the strongest woman I've ever, like when you meet my dad, you'll see, like, I got my body type from my mom.
I saw your dad years ago.
Yeah. Like, I got my body type from my mom. Like me and Zoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my mom was strong, bro. So like by the time I hit high school, I was kind of growing up too, going through puberty, all that shit. So, my mom like used to fight dudes. Like, she would square up and fight. You see what I'm saying? So,
I know.
it got very, very chippy. It got really chippy, and it got dangerous because obviously you're not going to touch your mom. Like, nobody's going to touch their mom, but I ended up.
That kid did. That white kid did.
I'm talking about the hood, man. Like, your mom will shoot you in the like. It's not even. They're under so much stress in the ghetto. Like, shit is incredible. But I remember very, very specifically, man. Like, there was one particular occasion where shit got really heck. Cops came over, all types of shit. I was all fucking. I called up Reef. I was like, yo, we just gonna find somebody.
Yeah.
And I just like, and those are the things like I had to deal with, like, when I was finally like dealing with the abuse or whatever you want to call it. But like, I had to deal with the fact that you took that out on other people that had nothing to do with it. So your mom, like, whatever, that's between, God was like, that's between me and her. Like, I'm going to basically square that circle, dude. But you didn't have to take it out on everybody the way that you did. Mm-hmm. Like, so it was a tough pill to swallow. When you grow up in bad situations, you always say, I'm not going to repeat the same mistakes that my parents did. But unless you're actively fighting against it, and that's why, like, I parent the way that I do, and it's probably like extreme on the other side, and you kind of balance it out. But I try to make sure that they feel heard, and I try to make sure that it's not just like a token, like, I'm listening to you. Like, I try to like implement changes if they can formulate a good argument.
All of them say how they feel heard by you.
Or if they, or I try to help them negotiate and things like that. Because, it's just important. So I'm looking at the song. It's like, come back home. but there's no change. There's no like, we've changed, we recognize what happened, it's just come back home. And I remember very clearly, like, I did 6 months in the psych ward, and then, you know, when you go to the psych ward, especially like you're 17, 18, you get assigned a social worker. Mm-hmm. And then the social worker does, you know, they work in concert, and so they determined that, like, the environment I was in wasn't safe for me to return back to. They were worried about recidivism, especially if you spent, I mean, half a year in a psych was a long time.
Yeah.
So they set me up in this dingy apartment, and my mom was like, you know, you're never gonna survive in this. Like, this is your first place out. You have no job. You know, you're gonna fall flat on your face. I told him, I said, I'd rather die. I'd rather die on the street than come back home. And I remember, like, my older brother called me, and my older brother was like, bruh, Vincent, I'm in the hospital at this time. I'm on the phone. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make it work. He's like, bruh.
Because he wanted you to go back with your mom.
I mean, I'd never had a job. Like, nobody had seen, like, this version of me, like, where people think I'm like this, you know. That all started at that time period, man. Because, like, it was like, my mom was like, come on, like, be reasonable. My brother was like, dude, I'm afraid for you. And I was like, I'm like, listen, I didn't tell my mom this. I told him, I said, listen, I ended up here because I almost died.
Yeah.
So I'm not fucking around. I would rather die. Mm-hmm. And he got quiet. He said, okay, I love you. And he hung up the phone. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear from him for like a year. And like, wow. I moved into the apartment, and I mean, I had to grind, you know, shit was a little bit hectic. My mom called after like 3 months. She's like, you made your point. Come back home. I was like, nah, Mom, I'm not doing that shit. Mm. I'm good over here. I mean, I eventually came back, tried to help her and stuff, and that didn't turn out well. But, like, if you're a parent and you're beefing with your kid, you cannot assume that the kid is the problem and that he just needs to come home. Like, you really have to, like, think through, maybe there's things that you need to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe there's things that you need to look at. Maybe you're the one that's unreasonable and irrational. It's not always the kid. Mm-hmm. There have been a couple times when the kid has, like, brought me out of insanity. Like, there have been times when, like, Dorothy's been like, Father, like, you're just reckless right now. And you could be dumb and let your ego run everything. You know, I'm not going to let a kid tell me what to do. That's fine. You don't need to let a kid tell you what to do. But in my view, I want my kids to, you know, I want them to be healthy. I want them to know how to negotiate in the world. And corporal punishment is not how the world works, other than for murderers and people who, like, run afoul of the law. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But in normal, everyday problem solving, that shit doesn't happen. So my thing is, like, your parenting style should reflect life as close as possible. And then the real world sort of ramifications of decisions that you make. So, for example, I want my kids to share. Everybody wants their kids to share. Mm-hmm. So we were handing out some candy, and
full disclosure, I'd been trying to work on them with sharing for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. It was not working. I ended up telling Vinny, I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. So anyway, so once, like, this all gets accomplished in one discussion. Go ahead, Vin. Tell the people.
Well, I mean, you're saying that, but you obviously put in a lot of work on it. But we were handing out some candy or something. I gave the whole bag to Orion. And so Reza's like, yo, let me get some. Ryan was like, nah, chill. I'm not trying to share with you, bro. I want this entire bag for myself. So I said, are you going to share with your brother? He said, no, I don't want to. I said, cool, bro. So Sori's looking at me like, what the hell? What are you doing? And I'm like, I said, yeah, man, you got all that. That's cool. And what happened? Like 5 minutes later, I had the chocolate bar or something like that?
Well, yeah, something like that. Once... Yeah, he hadn't even finished his bag of stuff.
Yeah, so I said, you're not going to share with your brother. Are we clear? He's like, yeah. I said, that's the decision you're making. He said, yeah. I'm like, cool.
And off he went happily.
Cool.
And then Vinny takes out some chocolates.
So I bring out some chocolate, and I'm like, here you go, Reza. And Orion's like, oh, I want some chocolate too. I'm like, nah, I'm not sharing with you, bro. I'm not sharing with you.
I was like,
this is my chocolate. I'm not sharing with you.
Watching this whole thing.
I told Reza, I'm like, don't give him any. so Orion's sitting there. And he's all like, what did he say?
I don't remember what
3 minutes later, Orion was sharing.
I know you wanted to change the
Yeah, he wanted to change the situation, but I wouldn't let it happen. I said, "Nah, bro, you good? You head over there with your stuff. Me and Ray's will have this. We're not sharing with you." And like ever since then,
he's been happily sharing.
I
But
gave him a whole.
Reza won't share.
Reza won't share.
We're gonna have to do something.
I gave him a whole bag of cookies, and he made sure that Reza had first dibs.
Yep.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But that is something that will be replicated in his life.
Yep.
Somebody smacking his hand and saying share with your brother is never going to be replicated.
Yeah.
Like if he inherits his little pie from the family business, like no, as much as the liberals will want to, nobody's going to go up to him and say you need to give to the poor. That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So what I try to do is create situations where they can feel the ramifications of what they're doing and make a decision on their own. Now, me personally, when I was a kid, I was stubborn as hell. So if I would have been like, fuck, I'm good. I don't need no chocolate. I'm good. Like I would have, but I would have changed my behavior later. But I would have never given my parents the satisfaction of seeing an immediate change like that. But he didn't know.
It's so crazy.
He didn't know what I was doing.
Even the way that you just said that, give my parents the satisfaction, I felt the same way with my parents. Like, I felt like I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. But, like, now that we're parents, it's not like, oh, yay, we got the satisfaction. You're like, oh, they get it. Good. This is good for them.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if it was like, if our parents were also like that, but there was some satisfaction, and then that's why we have that mindset, or if it's just like kids misunderstanding what an adult is doing, what a parent is doing.
But a lot of this comes, especially in the evangelical world, a lot of the child rearing advice is all about the parent's ego.
Yeah.
The kid's gonna listen to me. So what happens is, you've already set yourself up in an adversarial relationship with your kids. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna fight back. So I was in an adversarial relationship all the time with my mom. So everything was a war and everything was like a one-upsmanship type of thing. So it was hard for her to inculcate those things to me. Whereas they don't see me that way. Honestly, Orion just sees me as like a older brother almost. He doesn't really like this is dad. But he understands, I think he understands, I'm the authority in the house. Yeah. But as far as, the way he engages me like I'm, you know what I'm saying? When I pull the card, I pull the card. But when you make yourself an adversary of your own children, then they're going to fight you back. But if you make it sound like, oh, okay, I'm a consultant, you didn't want to share, that's cool. I'm going to show you in 3 minutes what it feels like. Mm-hmm. And then let's see if you modify your behavior. Because at the end of the day, I want all this stuff to come from their hearts. I don't want it to come from...
Because
they're going to get corporally punishment. Or even dad's going to be disappointed. I want them to, create their own philosophy.
Because if it's based off reward, a lot of times people want to parent off a reward. If you do that, eventually you don't have enough rewards to give them to get them to do the right thing.
Correct.
Eventually everybody's sin is fun. I want to do the wrong thing. Eventually they hit that point. You're just bribing them with bigger. Exactly. It's ridiculous. You have to show them and let them make enough decisions where they can learn that
they're smart.
There are, this brings about good and this does not bring about good. When I do this happens. Letting them understand reasoning and that life just has natural consequences. If you take a handful of sand and throw it up into the air and look up at it after you've been told not to do it, eventually okay, now you did it when I turned around, now you have to see what that experience is. But obviously as a parent you're trying to keep them away from having to experience things that would harm them or make them feel uncomfortable. But sometimes
and that's how
all of us did that.
You got to let them develop their own philosophy. And the way to do that is to put them in situations where they come to their own conclusions. This whole non-sharing stuff is kind of short-sighted. He did that arithmetic on his own. I didn't say I never told him Jesus wants you to share none of that shit.
I was doing all that for weeks.
But that's important. That's important, right? Because when he comes of age, he's going to realize that his self-motivated sharing ideology is in effect the same as what Jesus would want, but in motivation, it's still not there yet. Mm-hmm. So when you're parenting, there's one philosophy of parenting where it's hey, as long as the results are good, I'm good. I don't care why he's doing it. But what I care about is is what he's doing and why he's doing it and who he's doing it for. Right? So obviously, best case scenario, I want him to say, I'm doing this for Christ. You know, the love of Christ compels us. We're convinced that one died for all, therefore all died. And he died for all so that those who live would no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them. So, like, I want that to be his ultimate motivation. But there's a long road for him to make that connection. Right now, the connection is, on a practical level, not sharing doesn't work for me. But that's not going to be enough for him, because if he accumulates enough capital, he cannot share and not feel the consequences for it.
Right, exactly.
Right? So his current philosophy is underdeveloped about sharing. It's not going to protect him from being a millionaire. So right now, I know the job's not done. He's sharing now, but he's sharing that out of selfish motivation. Eventually, I want him to share because Christ died for him. And he's living in a perpetual state of gratefulness.
Yeah.
And he wants other people to experience that. But that's a long road. But my job is to consult. It's not to control. I'm not supposed to control my kids. I'm supposed to consult. I'm supposed to be a consultant. I'm a little bit ahead of the road. This is where we're at. And you have a role too, because you've been saying Jesus, 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 Jesus. So when he turns 11, 12, 13, and he really starts thinking about the why, all of that instruction is going to be used by God in his head.
I think both are important. Both are good.
You need both energies.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. You need a mom and a dad.
Look at that.
Okay, so this was a little long, but it was a very, very important situation. Very, very important situation. I'm going to give this one a 9.6. I was very impressed with how... I mean, this was a Dr. Dre produced type record. It's unbelievable to me. 9.6. What'd you give it?
9.6 as well.
There you are, dear listener.
We'll be back. There's more.
Commercial break. We shall return. Turn.